Howdy, it's Mr. Russell. Let's talk about naming acids and bases. So let me show you the 6 acids I want you to memorize. Can you see a pattern with all these acids? That's right, they all start with H. They're not in alphabetical order, they all start with H. So they all have a hydrogen out in front. They're all, so this HCl is hydrochloric acid, HBr is hydrobromic acid, HI is hydroiodic acid, HNO3 is nitric, H2SO4 is sulfuric acid, and HC2H3O2 is acetic acid, which is also vinegar. So now let's look at the bases. The bases all end in OH. These are the 7 that I want you to memorize. And there's a real easy trick to memorizing these 7 bases. Notice that all of these, if I cover up all of these, notice that these are all group 1 and group 2 metals, or group 1 and group 2 anions. So if I look, this is lithium, sodium, potassium, and rubidium here. And this is calcium, strontium, and barium here. So you can just know in the back of your head that all of these are going to be the bases I need to memorize. They will just be paired with a hydroxide. The group 1s are paired with 1 hydroxide, and the group 2s are paired with 2 hydroxides. When we look at these bases, just notice that they still follow the normal polyatomic ion rules that we talked about in the last video. So this is these will all be hydroxides down here, and just start with the metals, whichever metal you're looking at out front. Now that we've covered the bases, let's go back to the acids. The acids do have a system to them, and I'll show you right now. First, if the acid starts with an H but doesn't have an oxygen, so if it starts with hydrogen but doesn't have an oxygen, it is just we're gonna change the beginning to hydro, and then we're gonna insert the anion name, and then attach an ic to the end, and then call it acid. So HCl becomes hydrochloric acid. If this were HBr, it doesn't have an oxygen, so this would just be hydrobromic acid. So what if it does have an oxygen? Well, that is going to have a special name for it and name system. If it starts with a hydrogen and has at least 1 oxygen, it is going to be called an oxyacid. Oxy for oxygen, acid for acid. The H makes it an acid. On these, I'm going to change the 8 in the polyatomic ion, like sulfate, is going to be changed to ic. And if it has an ite, it's going to be changed to us. So I'll give you 3 examples that will go along with this. So if I have NO3 minus, and then SO4 2 minus, and then PO4 3 minus. All of those corresponding acids will have HNO3, H2SO4, and then H3PO4. There's a 3 minus charge here, so I need 3 hydrogens. There's a 2 minus charge here, so I need 2 hydrogens. And a 1 minus charge, so I need 1 hydrogen here. So I just cut these up so I could insert my the name of the polyatomic ion that's going with it. So this is a nitrate ion. I know that because it's on the back of the periodic table and on that reference sheet. This is a sulfate ion, and this is a phosphate ion. Notice that these all end in ate, so these our corresponding acids will all be will all just change the ate to an ic. So this makes it nitric acid. Nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and phosphoric acid. So if it doesn't end in ate, it could end in ite. So if we had NO2 minus and we had hypochlorite, which is, I'm sorry, ClO3 minus, we could we need to write the anions. So the nitrite is going to be nitrite, and then this is going to be hypochlorite. I'll write the corresponding acids to that. This is going to be HNO2 and then HClO3. And this and so now the ite here gets changed to an us. Here, if you notice, the ite gets changed to an us. So this would be nitrous acid. And then this would be hypochlorous acid. So you notice the rules for the acids and bases can be a little confusing and a little complicated. So that is why I'm giving you these 6 acids to memorize here. So you can just commit these to memory. I recommend flashcards. They're very helpful. So memorize these 6 acids and memorize these 7 bases. Remember, these are just group 1 and group 2 metals paired with an hydroxide. All right, thanks, y'all.